I used to always struggle with discipline. I didn't even know what discipline was. Like, for most of my life, I had no clue, and I never thought I would become the person who is disciplined. Like, I've been up since 5 a.m. I got up this morning, I worked out, I read, I wrote a script for this video, and now it is 7:25. I've been walking for 26 minutes, and now I'm doing what I love to do, which is record videos. And the only reason I got here was because I studied discipline. Like, I spent years studying from great thinkers like David Goggins, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Hamza, Jonko. Like, so many people. Anything that I could get my hands on that was about discipline, I listened to it, I watched it, I read about it, because I need to figure out how can I become disciplined. And I've learned there's only 5 things that goes into discipline. They're easy things. They're easier than you think. They're things you can do. And I'm going to tell you what those are so that you don't have to go through the years I spent trying to learn about discipline and failing and struggling. You ain't got to do that, because I'm going to show you how to build your discipline literally today. After this video, you're going to know what it takes to build your self-discipline. And from that, you're going to have a peace of mind, because being able to have a structured, disciplined life, it may seem bad from the outside, but as somebody who's living it, somebody who lived an undisciplined and not disciplined life, I can tell you right now, living a disciplined life is so freeing. It feels so peaceful. Like, being out here is wonderful. And it took discipline to be able to build this into a habit, and I'm so grateful that I did. You're going to be able to experience that, and I'm excited for you, because this is beautiful. And that feeling that you can't change, no matter how hard you try, nothing's working for you, you're not going to feel that anymore. I'm telling you, I'm going to break down discipline in a way that makes everything click for you. And when that clicks and you put it into practice, what I'm going to give you, you're going to have more energy and more motivation from the momentum that will kick in once you start building your discipline, and that is going to make a big change in your life. So the first thing I want to cover with you out of the 5 is identity. Identity matters. Oh, there's a car coming. Is it turning down here? It's not. Okay. We got to cover identity. And to cover this, I wanted to talk about a baby real quick. Because when a baby comes into this world, it's just a baby. Like, there's nothing on that baby. There's no name, no label, no habits, no anything. The baby is a blank slate. But then the baby becomes something. Its identity changes. Like, how do we name babies? Because your name is a part of your identity. It's you. If I say your name, you will look up, because that is your identity. That is you. How does a baby make the connection? When it comes in having no connections, blank, how does a baby make a connection that they are whatever name you call them? So we'll say Bob for this example. How does your baby learn? How does your baby's identity change and become Bob? Do you just say the baby's name once and it just immediately says, oh, I'm Bob, that's me? No. You say the baby's name over and over and over and over and over again. Every time you address that baby, you say, hey, Bob, 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 Bob. And over time, from hearing it over and over and over again, the baby will come to realize subconsciously that it is Bob. So now the baby has gone from just being a baby to being Bob. I am Bob. And for the rest of that baby's life, it will identify as Bob just as I identify as Faith. Why is this important? We all have identities. And most of them have an either or. Like, it's a polar opposite. Like, you know, the opposite of happy is sad. The opposite of greed is humility, or like humble. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's an up and a down, left, right, all that good jazz. Well, if you're not disciplined, what's the extreme of not being disciplined? Undisciplined. So right now you have an undisciplined identity. And how did you get that? You didn't get it because you wanted it. You got it because we are living in a society that is undisciplined. We're living in a society where it is common to spend all day watching TV being on your phone, not growing, not reading. I mean, the average high schooler, when they leave high school, they only read 3 books a year. So we are in a society that is undisciplined, and that identity has been put onto you. But to become disciplined, all you gotta do is change your identity. I'm gonna give you tips and tactics on how to do that. But I need you to understand that you're not that far away from being disciplined. You're not. When I start doing what I'm gonna tell you, my life changed. When I got this new mindset, my life changed. And yours will too. So this is just like, I hope you have hope. I hope that this gave you hope that becoming disciplined is attainable, because it is. Now that you understand that all you gotta do is change your undisciplined identity into a disciplined identity. And we're gonna get into that. But before we do, we need to cover what is discipline in the first place. And hold on, I got cards coming. Let me put my phone down. Now we gotta cover what is discipline. I'm out of breath. I'm out of breath. That's crazy. And there's 2 more cards coming. I'm gonna pause the video real quick and let these cards pass, and we'll get back to it. Okay, now what is discipline? We have to understand this, because I didn't know what discipline was, and so I thought it was what I'd seen on social media. Like, I just got my concept of discipline from Instagram, TikTok. Like, people make clips, and it was always the biggest, baddest people doing the biggest, baddest things. If you weren't waking up at 3 a.m., if you weren't taking cold showers, if you weren't going on ultra marathon runs, like, could you even call yourself disciplined? And so whenever I tried to use my discipline, I would try it at a very high level, because I thought that was discipline. But no, discipline isn't doing those things. Discipline is just a feeling. It's resistance, okay? That's part 1 of discipline. But the second part is, it's resistance plus you going through it, okay? And to make this more concrete, think about when you're working out, right? And you lift something heavy. As you're lifting it, it feels heavy. That heaviness is resistance. To grow your muscle, like to exercise though, you lift it up. You fight through the resistance. You go through it. And the repetition from feeling the resistance and going against it, you get stronger. Discipline is the same thing. It's gonna get stronger, but it's a form of resistance that you have to go through. So now it leads us to the question of, what can we find that gives us resistance? Because like I said in the beginning, you just need a disciplined identity. And how does an identity form? It forms through you hearing something or doing something or being around something enough times that you start to think that that's you. Like, your identity changes. You subconsciously accept that that is you now. And to achieve that with discipline, to go from undisciplined to disciplined, all you gotta do are discipline acts. Enough times that your subconscious says, oh wait, I am disciplined. And then you'll become disciplined, and then that's you. And when that becomes you, it'll be way easier to just do disciplined things, because that's just who you are. You feel me? Another car. First of all, my apologies if my explanation has been all over the place. I'm definitely gonna make more videos about discipline. But getting back to the core point, what is discipline? It is resistance that you go through. To become disciplined, you just need to feel resistance and go through it more often. Now, the key point I want you to remember is that I didn't say discipline is going through hard resistance. I didn't say that. I said that discipline is going through resistance, feeling resistance and going through it. And I'm making this distinction because when you take out the need to do something hard, you will accept the tools I'm going to give you to grow your discipline. You're going to understand you don't need to do really hard things to build discipline. You don't have to wake up at 3 a.m. You don't have to take cold showers. You don't have to go and work out extremely hard. You don't have to push yourself to the extreme to grow your discipline. I need you to understand that. And when you accept that, now we can ask a different question. If I don't have to do hard resistance things, then does that mean I can do easy resistance things that will grow my discipline? And the answer is yes. This leads us on to the first tool I'm going to give you. This is an easy discipline act you can do over and over and over again. We have another car coming. Okay. There it is. I was trying so hard. Anyway, so we're going to number 3. This is a discipline act you can do. And the beautiful thing about this thing, I'm going to tell you, is that you can do this every single day. And because building a discipline identity is about how many reps you can get in of doing the thing until you subconsciously you accept it as you. This tool is something that will allow you to get so many reps in every day without burning out, without overworking yourself, without pushing yourself to the very freaking limit. Like, you're not going to be wanting to die following this regimen. I mean, you might in the beginning because you're just like, I don't want to do it. But it's not like, oh my God, I'm going to die. You feel me? Like, regardless, when you discipline yourself, it won't feel good. So don't think you're going to be doing this and you're like, it's going to be like, I don't want to. But it'll be, I don't want to, that you can push through. Okay? So, back in college, when I first started building my discipline, hold on, there's another car. Dang, people are out today. It's foggy too. People are out today. Dang, I ain't never seen that many cars today. Anyway, back in college, I decided I wanted to be 1% better. Because I read Atomic Habits, and he was like, if you get 1% better every day, within a year, you'll be 37 times better. But if you don't get any better, you'll be worse off than when you started. When I read that, I was like, well, dang, I have no choice then. I don't want to be worse off right now. I want to be better. So I said, what's one thing I can do better? Another car is coming. My bad. I had to pause the video because cars kept driving by me, like car upon car, and the wind started blowing. It just wasn't a good time. But anyway, yeah, I wanted to get 1% better. And I looked at my carpet, and I saw there was a lot of dirt and grass and stuff. You know, when you walk in with your shoes on, stuff gets on the rug. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna keep it swept. I'm gonna keep it clean. The moment I see something up there, I'm gonna get to it. And then I walked out in the living room and wanted to get some water, but I had to fill my Brita with water because I never kept it filled. And I said, I bet that too. I'm gonna keep my Brita full of water, and that's all I did. And let me tell you, that was horrible. Like, you don't understand how much mess your shoes bring in until you start cleaning up behind it. When I tell you, I would sweep that rug like 3 times a day. I grew to hate looking at that rug. And I remember there's this one moment where I walked back in after being out all day, being out with my friends, chilling. I come back to see my carpet was not good. My rug was messy. And I felt so much hate. I was like, I don't want to clean it. But I went and got the broom and I did it. Even though every part of me was like, I don't want to do it, I did it. And that was after like a few weeks of just continuing to make myself clean the carpet. Like, it was a small thing. I hated it, but I kept doing it. But it started getting easier. Like, I would still put up a fight, but like after just being like, for a few seconds, I would go ahead and do it. When before, it would take me days to get to it. Now it was taking me a few minutes. And that's when I realized, oh, this stuff is really working. Like, I didn't know it was building my discipline at the time because I just wanted to be better. But that was building my discipline because now that thing I felt resistance to and didn't want to do, it got easier. And then other things start getting easier too. Like not wanting to wash my dishes after eating. I never wanted to. But then I got used to feeling that resistance and pushing through it. That when I felt resistance for that, pushed through it. Did it. Okay. When it came to keeping my bedroom clean, making my bed, cleaning my bathroom, taking out the trash, I still felt that resistance because I had been practicing it with my rug, my Brita. I was able to feel it and still go through it. And the same thing applies to the bigger things I do, like walking out here. It's cold, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of wanted to stay inside today. I felt resistance to coming out here. I felt resistance to recording. But because I'm practicing going through the resistance anyway, I did the same thing with this. Now you may be thinking, girl, all you said basically was to do chores. And that's exactly what I'm saying. Do chores. Because we can do those things every day, because we got to make our bed every day. We got to wash our dishes. We have to wipe the table when we're finished with it. Like, these are basic things, but most of us don't feel like doing it, and so we just let it pile up. I'm telling you, if you focus on doing those things, which you can do every day, which will not burn you out, your discipline will get stronger. And then that would translate to bigger things. Working on your passions, staying scheduled, following through on what you say you want to do. You'll have the discipline to do that, because it all comes from resistance. And the more you get practice going through that resistance, the easier it'll get. And then on top of that, you're building a disciplined identity. So your identity is going to change. Instead of being the person who feels resistance and runs from it, you'll become the person who feels resistance and goes through it, because you've done it so many times with your chores. Okay? So right now, I want you to think about 3 chores you can do starting today. What are 3 things you can do, or 2 to 3, and make sure they get done every day? That might be, okay, when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to make my bed. Even if I don't feel like it, I'm going to make it. It could be after I finish eating, I'm going to wash my dishes. I don't feel like doing it, but those dishes are going to get done. Maybe it's, I'm going to drink 1 glass of water, because I don't be drinking water. I want to, and it's something small that I can do. Or maybe it's taking out the trash. Like, if you sit there and think for a little bit, you can find out some chores you can start doing. Do those. And when you feel the resistance, accept it. Like, it's supposed to be there. Like with working out, you're supposed to be struggling against the weight, because the struggle is what makes you better. It's what makes you stronger. Discipline is the same thing. So you're going to feel resistance, but think about it as you working out, and use that to grow. Accept it. Now, the 4th tool I'm going to give you is a mindset that will help you build your discipline even more. You don't have to do this if you're doing your chores. That's definitely going to help. And I want you to understand also, before I get into step 4, is as you're doing these things, I want you to recognize what you're doing, because this will boost your identity change and make it go faster. Like, recognize, I am doing something I don't want to do right now. I am building my discipline. Like, every single time you do it, because that's even more bang for your buck. Okay? So step 4 is, for building discipline, a tool I use all the time, is do what's inconvenient. When my gas is low in my car, I have a bad habit of not getting it when it gets to a certain level, because my parents, they do it. My parents will let the gas get right to E before they fill it up, and so I built that habit myself. And I would watch my gas go down, and on days where I could just stop to get the gas, where I didn't have to wait until it got to E to get it, I could just go ahead and do it then. But I would push it off, because I'm like, I got a little bit of gas, so I can get to this point. I ain't got to stop. Because stopping to get gas felt so inconvenient to me. I did not feel like doing it. Like, it's out the way. I can get to it later. It's out the way. Now that I'm building discipline, I know how to build it. When I feel moments like that, where I'm thinking I don't feel like it because it's out the way, it's inconvenient, in my head I'm like, oh my God, this is an opportunity to build discipline, and I run to do it. So now, and it's still like, it's not, I don't want you to think that this is easy for me. Like, I'm like, oh my God, no, I still feel the resistance. I still feel it. It's still a workout. But now, when I see my gas getting low, at first I'd be like, I don't want to get it. And then I'll think, but this is a good way to build your discipline. And then I go and do it. Another example is like, one time I ran out of toothpaste. At night, after I had gotten ready for bed, I was out of toothpaste. And I did not feel like going to the store to get it, because it was just so out of the way, inconvenient. I'll just get it tomorrow. I said, nah, that's a good way to build discipline. And so I went and got it. And as a result, you see what I'm doing. Like, you see I post consistently on YouTube. I mean, I've been doing this for 3 years on different channels. But I've been disciplined enough to start living the life I want and feeling fulfilled by it. And it's because of these small tools. They seem so minor, but they work. So for you, how do you do something inconvenient? Just be aware of what you're thinking. So, and be aware of how you're feeling. Because if there's something you think, I don't want to, I'll push it off. I don't want to. And if you're feeling like a resistance, like you want to pull away from, like you don't want to do it, that's a signal. That's a sign that you have an opportunity to build your discipline. And if it's something that's like a chore or something that just seems inconvenient, it's all subjective. Do it. So it's just like being aware of the small moments and taking advantage of it instead of letting it build your undisciplined identity. Because if you keep repeating feeling resistance and running from it, that tells your subconscious you're the person who, when you feel resistance, you run from it, an undisciplined identity. Now, the last thing before I let you go. Also, my bad for the quality. Like, you see, it's foggy. It's gray out here, but we're still out here. Anyway, the fifth thing is, remember, your identity is forever changing. Who I was 5 years ago, like, I'm not that girl anymore. My identity has completely changed. I'm not the same girl who felt insecure and was very quiet and didn't put herself out there. I'm not that girl anymore. I'm different. My identity changed. And my identity will continue changing based on what I do. And yours will too. Now, I'm saying this because I don't want you to think a disciplined identity is something you have and then it's yours forever. It's something you are. It's something you continue to do. So these doing your chores, doing what's inconvenient, those are the foundational workouts to do for the rest of your life. That's as simple as I can say. It's like if a person with an overweight person got skinny, they have to continue doing what got them skinny. Otherwise, if they go back to eating bad foods and not working out, they're going to gain the weight again. So I just need you to understand that you have to continue doing these new things. This is a new lifestyle. And it may seem frightening to do that. Like, for the rest of your life, you're going to do chores. You're going to do what's inconvenient. But I'm telling you, when you build the discipline that comes from doing those things, you will not regret it. Because now you'll be able to do what matters to you. You'll do what you love. And you'll be growing into the person you've always known you could be. And you're not going to feel guilt anymore for wasting your potential. All that bad feeling will be gone. You'll be flourishing in life. You'll be flourishing once you build your discipline and keep building it for the rest of your life. Bye.